Hi, welcome back to my channel, Zen and Fit. If this is your first time visiting, welcome. Please hit the like and subscribe button to support the channel. My name is Nikki, and today I have a guest on, Miss Sasha again. She's an associate marriage and family therapist. And today we're going to be actually talking about the differences between a life coach and a psychotherapist, basically. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. So, Miss Sasha, do you kind of want to give an overview of your understanding of life coaches?
So I've been hearing a lot of talk about these life coaches and the concerns that a lot of mental health professionals, aka therapists, have about their role in the behavioral health field. So, from my understanding, and I hope someone can chime in, add some more details to give more clarity, a
Hmm.
life coach is someone who is more focused on helping an individual, I would say, come over certain hurdles. So maybe they wouldn't have like major life hurdles. Maybe they just have like specific goals they want to attain for a better life quality that is not something that would be considered clinical. And these individuals kind of are the ones who kind of help push them to be able to do that by helping them establish certain goals, to reach the goals, certain strategies, things of that nature. That is my understanding of a life coach.
Yeah, it's to chime in, it's kind of like I've seen life coaches from what they've advertised. There's life coaches for business or finance or for general wellness, like health and fitness and things like that. From what I've seen them advertising.
Right. And I wonder and I question how that can be. It's from my understanding that when you're in certain fields, they have specific like financial analysts who can help individuals overcome some kind of financial aspects. They also have a specific track in psychology, which is considered more business for business sake, where these individuals specialize in helping businesses kind of look at the psychological aspects or background of what's going on behind a business so they can understand things to look for, look at potential barriers, some blind spots, and help these individuals overcome hurdles. So, part of my main concern is that these individuals are taking away from individuals who have studied the specific areas of expertise, these
Mhm.
specific modalities that are designed for certain industries. So we have individuals who go to school specifically for helping people with businesses. We have people who go to school specifically for helping people with attaining certain life goals. So the only concern that I have about a life coach is that they may be taking away from others who have invested more time and energy and therefore have gained more understanding of how all things are connected and can therefore support that person in touching all parts that may be causing them to have challenges in obtaining those goals.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
go
And
ahead. Sorry.
and no, just to chime in, Sasha, too, like what you were saying, with life coaches, because like, if a person needs, financial guidance, there's certified financial planners, and I'm sure they have to
Right.
go through a lot of training to, even use that title. And like you said, with life coaches, from what I understand is that that field is not necessarily regulated. It's not like you need like a certificate or a license to say, hey, I'm a life coach. Um, so that's where it could be, like you said, problematic. There may be some great people out there, who are life coaches, of course, but with it not being regulated, it's like anyone can, use that title and say, hey, I'm a life coach, and here I'm going to give you guidance on how to address whatever specific goals you have, you know.
Correct.
Yeah.
Another aspect that I wanted to kind of bring to attention is I read that a life coach may be preferred over a therapist because of stigma. The
Mhm.
stigma that many people have around the idea of mental health and going to a therapist or a counselor. And so a life coach may be an easier step for them. Again, that raises concern. because if someone is in a place where they need a therapist or a counselor because they have more deep rooted issues that may be causing these more maladaptive behaviors, such as not being able to achieve certain goals, not being able to handle certain adult life responsibilities. Um, Taking the road of a life coach will make things a little blurry because these individuals are not qualified to manage the psychological aspects of these individuals. And so, therefore, this person may learn how to perform, AKA meet these goals, but they're not resolving the underlying roots of why this performance anxiety is even existing.
Hmm.
So, that would be a major concern because these individuals can't take care of the whole person, such as a mental health professional would be able to.
Exactly. That's a concern of mine. Like with stigma, there's a lot of stigma with mental health, and some people may see a life coach and it's like, "Oh, okay, I'll go to a life coach." It's
Right.
not I'm not mentally ill, or I don't have that stigma associated with it. So they may be seeking out services for a life coach when that person may actually need a licensed therapist to be, talking to address certain, issues.
Right.
And life coach, some of them may see, hey, that there's something, this is way outside my scope, and maybe some of them do refer, those clients to say, hey, you may want to connect to a licensed therapist on this, but that may not always be the case, and therefore that person's not getting appropriate, care and treatment
Right.
that they should be getting.
And then it also furthers the stigma. The
Yeah.
whole purpose of us being in this field and being so vocal about going out and seeking out mental health care is because we're trying to remove the stigma, trying to remove this idea that you have to be quote unquote crazy, quote
Mhm.
unquote unstable in order for you to go speak to someone about things that are bothering you.
Yeah.
Life is hard, and each person deserves to be able to go to someone who can help them through life hardships.
Mhm.
The unfortunate reality is we have this very capitalistic industry, a capitalistic life. We have the influx of social media where people are projecting their own ideas of what a great life is supposed to be. And if
Mhm.
someone doesn't seem to be reaching those goals or behaving the way these people glorify, then somehow they're being defined or they're internalizing this idea that they are not good enough.
Yeah.
And if we are kind of encouraging these individuals to hop on this whole, what I'm going to call hustle train of being able to accomplish goals, again, as I stated, they're not really getting to the underlying root of what's really bothering them. And then these individuals continue to have some social impairments, some occupational impairments, have academic impairments if they're in school, to where their functioning starts to decline. And they're like, I don't understand why. I've met all my goals. It's because
Mhm.
you didn't take care of the root of the problem. So that would be my concern, is that we would further allow the stigma of mental health to go if they can just go to a life coach who, which in my experience, sometimes offer therapeutic interventions as a way to help these individuals meet these goals. So they may not speak them, but they may give you certain worksheets that is very reminiscent of maybe a CBT or a DBT intervention. So it's just a very, very, very thin line between life coach and therapist.
Mhm.
And we don't want to be reckless with anyone's emotional welfare.
So, like Sasha was just mentioning with CBT, I mean, that's cognitive behavioral therapy, and that can be really applied to people who don't have psychiatric issues or illnesses, I should say, because it's really focusing on how you think, how
Mhm.
your core beliefs affect your thinking. And that can be for anybody, that can be for all of us, that we can
Right.
utilize those types of strategies. And like how Sasha was talking about, maybe going to a life coach that does have a clinical background, like would be like a psychotherapist, because there are therapists in the field who are actually branching out and saying that they provide life coaching services, so that people who may not have let's say a clinical diagnosis or don't meet clinical criteria for a diagnosis, they can still get support and services, but you're going to someone who has that clinical background in case anything does happen to arise where maybe you are, dealing with some psychiatric issues that still can be addressed because you're going to a qualified person who has that background and expertise to identify it.
Yeah.
So,
The only concern is about emotional welfare and not having individuals invest money into something where the whole problem doesn't get to be addressed.
right.
It's more of an ethics matter at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. And that falls on that particular individual. If they just are a general life coach and let's say they're not a therapist, they don't have that background. It's up to them to like decide to say, oh, okay, yeah, this person is dealing with something that's really outside my scope of expertise. And if they don't choose to do that, that client that they're working with is totally, at a disadvantage, for sure. So yeah. And then also too, I just wanted to bring up because I know there's, of course you guys have probably heard of some popular life coaches out there. And I think some of the what Sasha was talking about that can be problematic and the thin line between therapists and life coaches is that sometimes you may see a certain life coach and they're, let's say in the entertainment realm and they're on some popular show and they're portraying a character and they're portraying that they're a psychologist. And in real life, they're saying they're a life coach. You could see how a lot of people would be confused and thinking that this person's a therapist in real life. I have seen that on certain television shows where that has taken place. And I think that that's really problematic to society and to the general public because that person, the general public may be under the impression that this person is a therapist in real life because, oh, well, they're a life coach. And then all of a sudden they're on a TV show and they're portraying a psychologist, so
Mm.
yeah. But yeah, I think that, that's the differences between life coaches and licensed therapists. We kind of covered that. If you have any questions or comments, please share. I would love to read them. And if you would like another video on us talking about life coaches, just let me know in the comments section as well. I appreciate Miss Sasha being willing to do another video with me.
Anytime.
Yes, and this is not a video to throw any shade towards life coaches. I'm not putting everyone, in the same bucket. We're just saying what could be a potential problem, uh, especially for clients who are trying to seek out help and
Mm.
maybe desperate. So, but anyhow, if you could please hit the like and subscribe button to support this channel. And until next time, take care.